Hi, my name is Logan, and I'm trying to read the Bible in a year. I'm breaking it down into short chunks and converting anything I find interesting and trying to share it with you guys. I want to touch as many people as possible with this journey, and I would really love it if you guys subscribed and share these videos. And, the whole goal of this is to try and, spread the word of the Lord as much as possible. This is a non-for-profit YouTube channel, and everything, if we ever receive anything, will go towards charities in the Philippines, as that's where I'm currently living. And without further ado, here's our prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together, and thank you for this time that we have set aside to just try and grow closer to you and try and understand where we've come from as a people and as a religion, and trying to understand where we need to go in the future, and trying to just, be beacons of your word to the world. In your name we pray, amen. All right, so today I want to start with Genesis 11, 1 through 4. This is talking about after Noah and them got off the ark, and most of these two chapters, 10 and 11, are just names of people who birthed other people who lived for a really long time. But there's one interesting little section here that I thought was good, and it says, "Now the whole world had one language, a common speech. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, 'Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly.' They used brick instead of stone, and tar and mortar. Then they said, 'Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise we will be scratched over the face of the whole world.' But the Lord came down to the city, to the tower that the people were building. The Lord said, 'If the people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them.'" To me, this was once again another very challenging section. I just, it's very hard for me to reconcile this God that we're reading about in Genesis with the New Testament God and the teachings of Jesus. But, we'll try and dig into this a little bit more. I find it very interesting that even in the beginning of time, mankind was very interested in making a legacy or a monument to themselves. They wanted to build something that would last and, would get them recognized for, the endless amounts of time. Isn't this exactly what we do today? We all want our names to go on forever and ourselves to have built some sort of legacy that's going to outlast us and into the future generations. I think most of us, have an altruistic view of this, where we want to build something that will last and help people for generations. But I think there's, a definite amount of selfishness in this thought as well. And then when God decided to scatter all the people all over the world and forget that they all knew how to speak with each other, I didn't think he did this just because he could. He's doing this to make a point that nothing we do here on earth is going to last forever. Nothing that, we can accomplish here by ourselves is remotely meaningful in the long term for your long-term, spiritual walk. And this is obviously not something that God was pleased with. He obviously saw what they were doing, building a monument or a legacy to themselves, and then he decided that that was not something that he wanted his people to be doing, and so he scattered them. This is, once again, we're just getting to hear how vengeful and jealous God was to his people. He basically wiped down, or he took a growing community civilization and decided that that civilization wasn't what he had intended again. This is just after the flood, right? And now it's all happening again, where he's deciding that, these people are not following his commandments, they don't deserve to be there, and that they are not glorifying him. So he decides to remove the whole situation. That's kind of hard, right, for us to just listen to and take in and say, okay, yeah, that makes sense, because that's just not the God that we grew up listening to in the Gospels. But I'm just so grateful for God's peace and grace through Jesus that we've been able to come to realize when He sent His Son to help us understand that things have been forgiven, and that through His sacrifice, through God's sacrifice of Jesus, that we may live forever. With that, I'd just like to thank you guys for spending this little bit of time with me, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day.